All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having an amazing Monday evening. We got a lot of news to cover for you in tonight's video, or if you're watching this in the morning, good morning to you over there in Dubai. And the east side of the world, XRP sitting at 60 cents right now. Is it time to be bearish? Is it time to be bullish? With massive documents dropping about Ripple and the secret partnership with the United Nations. Some important news we're going to bring to you guys in this video. We got some big clips on what's happening with the banks. XRP threatening to flip Binance, the cryptocurrency, as the fourth largest crypto. It'd actually be the third largest crypto because USDT doesn't count since it's a stable coin. And we're going to discuss USDT's dominance and also go back to the Wayback Machine. And we also have a clip to play with you guys from the former CEO of the New York Stock Exchange. And is he going all in with crypto? So a lot to cover in this video. Comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. Comment 777 if you're feeling bullish. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, you got to take your putter and grab that like button and tap it in. You still haven't synced the putt. Maybe you sunk the like button and you did that on a par, but if you want to catch a birdie and you want to catch this information first, then sync the subscribe button as well too. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So Amanda is here cooking some dinner right now while I'm going to be ranting to you in this video. What are we going to be cooking up here? Wait, where am I right now?
Making a garlic butter salmon
Oh,
with some
look at that.
orzo.
Oh, very nice. With some chicken broth. And what is that, the whole feast? Oh no, that's the protein. That stuff's pretty good. Not sponsored, by the way. This stuff's really good if you guys try that out. But right here, if you ever drink some bone broth, doesn't look like bone broth. It looks like I might have peed in that or something. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, guys. I hope you're excited because people that are bearish right now. What is it? Cyber Monday. There's Cyber Monday deals going on in these markets, and a lot of these projects are down. Like BNB is down 10% over the past week with the news about the CEO stepping down and the new CEO coming in with having ties to the World Economic Forum and having ties to Ripple as well too. When we look right here on the XRP to the US dollar price chart on the 1 week, we can see this upward accumulation phase right here before a massive explosion if we compare it to the past. When we look at the 2021 bull run, I mean, massive explosion is relative, obviously, because it was cut short. You know, a lot of people are going to hate on XRP and say, like, all these other altcoins are outperforming it. And yeah, because crypto is filled with degenerates and absolute lunatics that like making money off crap projects. And, you know, it's just inevitable that long-term, the solid utility projects will reign supreme. And XRP with Ripple is one of those projects. But in the short term, degenerates like to make money off of meme coins and lots of other gaming projects and stuff. And hey, you know, it is what it is. It's just the name of the game. And so in the early days of the internet, when the internet was booming, all these companies with just the .com domain, people were throwing money at, and the Apple and the Microsoft and, you know, all the other massive tech companies, the Googles weren't even really, you know, adopted yet. And so we have yet to see the adoption take place, but there's some signs that I'm going to show you in this video. There's some news that I'm going to bring to you, and all the cards are lining up and the dominoes are tipping in the right direction. And so when we go back to 2017, we saw the same thing, this upward accumulation followed by massive price explosion. And so when we look at the XRP price chart right now, we can see this upward accumulation taking place since June of 2022. And so yeah, sure, XRP hasn't pulled massive rally like Solana or Chainlink yet, but we're in this upward accumulation phase for how long? Let's measure this. For 532 days. And so this is a good sign. It's better that we do this than see a downward accumulation and XRP, you know, selling off. And so a support to look for is right within the zone of around, like I said in the past video, 55 cents. And so not too much is happening for XRP right now. If we see it sell off to the downside, I would expect it to see a bounce within the support. And if Bitcoin sells off and we see a drop in Bitcoin, this is all contingent obviously on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin sees a sell off, and I'm going to talk about Bitcoin towards the end of this video with this rising wedge formation, if we see Bitcoin drop to the support of this wedge at around 36,000 some odd dollars, if we see it break below, then we might need to reevaluate what's going to happen in the altcoin market the next few weeks, because retracements on the way up or corrections on the way up are completely normal. And when Bitcoin corrects 30%, a lot of these altcoins, these smaller market cap altcoins that people are so excited about, will correct 50 to 80%. So you have to be willing to stomach those drops if you are trading smaller cap projects. But if Bitcoin were to sell off, XRP would see a sell off, and I would expect it to hold this upward trending support. But if Bitcoin breaks to the upside, then I would expect XRP to continuously trend upwards and hold this support right here since the 5th of May, 6th of May. And so it'd be roughly right around the 55 cent range is the main support that you guys can see acted as resistance on end of March, beginning of June. You can see the end of September. We see right here on the 4th of January as support. Also on the 19th of July of 2021 as support. So 55 cents is going to be a massive zone of support to watch for. Now, the interesting thing to note here is even if XRP sees a sell off to the downside, all of this stuff keeps popping up that shows Ripple is in ties with these massive institutions, massive companies, and a secret partnership with the United Nations. Is this true? Well, in a document submitted to the UK government, Ripple wrote that we work with a sustainably run securities exchange operated in partnership with the United Nations, which develops a carbon credit solution to issue NFTs tokenized carbon credits. It also highlights that we have not even scratched the surface of what NFTs will do to make our economic and social transactions digital and more efficient. And it's clear the XRP ledger is the future for real world tokenization, from real estates to NFTs. Everything is set to run on the XRP ledger. And the source is committee.parliament.uk, and you can see the document right here. And it says, a strong advocate for robust, sensible regulation. We are encouraged by the UK government's and UK Parliament's supportive approach to innovation. Is that how you say that? Innovation. Sometimes I can barely read, guys. In the crypto asset and blockchain space, we support their interest in understanding the benefit of NFTs to the UK economy and what the optimal regulatory approach to them might be. And in the document, it says, although Ripple utilizes XRP and the XRP ledger in its product offerings, XRP is independent of Ripple. The XRP ledger is decentralized, open source, and operates on what is known as a consensus protocol, where there are well over 100 known use cases for XRP and the XRP ledger. Ripple leverages XRP for use in its product suite because of XRP's suitability for cross-border payments to be able to bridge large banking transactions. And key characteristics of XRP include obviously speed, scalability, energy efficiency, and cost efficiency, all of which benefits the consumer and helps reduce friction in the market for cross-border payments. So a lot of people use the argument that because XRP is independent of Ripple, that the banks won't use it and the banks will use like the XRP ledger and Ripple's other products and not XRP, when they're failing to recognize that BlackRock is filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF, and when money comes into Bitcoin, money flows into the rest of the industry, specifically the top 10 projects. And so XRP will gain adoption and we'll see a large chunk of that market cap flow into it. It's inevitable. And so when we look at XRP compared to Binance, it's at 32 billion. Binance is at $34 billion. And it's very close to flipping. Now, some big news happening here with Metaco, HSBC, what's taking place, because Metaco is the Swiss digital assets custody firm that was acquired by Ripple earlier this year. And they're working with HSBC, one of the world's largest banks. And the fans over, at Ripple, all the XRP holders, obviously, I could be a fanboy sometimes of XRP because of how bullish I am, but rightfully so. I like to take my emotions out of it, and I invest with pure logic here. And that's why I don't just hold XRP. I do trade a lot of other projects too because of the narratives. And if you guys watched my video yesterday, I talked about the number one narrative in the crypto space is decentralized finance and DeFi exchanges, and how that's going to drive artificial intelligence projects, that's going to move the gaming projects, that's going to move tokenized real world assets and securities, because these DeFi exchanges are what people are going to use in massive amounts of retail money, and even like middle of the ground money, to have several $1 million, but they're not quite institutional $1 billion whales yet. They like to trade on DeFi exchanges. And so, the XRP fans, even crypto fans, are interpreting HSBC's choice of custody tech partner as yet another sign that financial institutions will inevitably adopt the XRP ledger and, crucially, the XRP token. There is, however, an indirect correlation between Ripple protocols and Metaco's banking clients, the CEO of Metaco said. And he said there's an indirect link, which is that the adoption of Ripple and Metaco's solutions further promotes the adoption of the XRP ledger as a protocol. And every success of Ripple, the company, is also a success for the XRP ledger. And XRP's ledger is designed for both public and private use and scales sustainably better than competitors on the market, like the EVM chains, he said, referring to the Ethereum virtual machine. It natively supports tokenized assets rather than going through smart contracts. And that's big, guys, because BlackRock wants to tokenize assets, tokenize real estate, and basically tokenizing everything on the blockchain. It also allows for on-chain trading with other blockchain-based exchanges or automated market makers. And combining Metaco and Ripple therefore offers a complete virtual stack. And that's what the CEO of Metaco is saying. And the banks plan to launch a new digital asset. HSBC plans to launch a new digital asset custody service for institutional clients in 2024, complementing its platform for issuing digital assets, and it's offering for tokenized physical gold, according to the release. And so Ripple acquired Metaco for about $250 million, saying the deal will help Ripple tap into institutional crypto custody market that will grow to $10 trillion by 2030. So this bull run, maybe we see $5 trillion of that flow into this industry. By 2030, we see $10 trillion. Currently, right now, we're sitting at $1.4 trillion. But in the past, we've been discussing how big the derivatives market is, guys. You know, it's arguably in the quadrillions of dollars. And so 5 trillion or 10 trillion is just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even talked about the daily foreign exchange market. But the CEO of Metaco made it clear that crypto and his libertarian mindset is what drives him. He said he believes many banks will want to offer crypto-related services eventually. And if they build for tokenization now, these institutions will have everything they need for crypto entry when the time comes.
Jamie Dimon, so let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan. What do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs?
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
But what
feel the panic in their voices. But here's
business that is most
here's what always happens. The first thing that happens is they try to go, oh, it's nothing, and they did that. I mean, that's with every new industry, every new technology comes along. The powers that be, the incumbents, the status quo, all say, it's nothing. Don't ignore the man behind the curtain. This is nothing. And then all of a sudden it's too big to get in there. They're going, oh my God, I got to face this thing. And then they all line up and they wrap their arms together and they say, we're not letting this happen. And then it keeps going. And then they say, okay, well, let's sue them. Or let's go get the government.
There's another thing they do. They adopt the technology. I think.
No, that's at the end.
They will adopt this technology.
No, this is the last thing they do. No,
yeah, it's like
it's after. It's after the press planting. They plant the press stories. They put out lawsuits. They create as much of a fuss as possible. They try to get their government friends involved. And then they go, oh, God, this thing's happening.
All right, this is kind of a funny clip here because Gary Gensler has been on the wrong side of the law here, attacking Ripple when he knew clear that he was wrong and he wasn't going to win that lawsuit. But it was just a stalling tactic. And now he's trying to act like he's on this guy's side. You can tell this guy is just kind of annoyed with him because he just keeps cutting him off and like over talking him here. So that's how it works, guys. First they ignore you and then they laugh at you and then you win and then they adopt it, right? And if they can't beat you, what do? Well, they fight you or they buy you. And that's what's happening with Binance right now. Okay, so the guy is stepping in, CZ stepping down, and XRP is threatening to flip Binance's crypto market cap once and for all. Now, here's the 6-year history of XRP versus Binance. You can see XRP in purple, BNB, the BNB token in yellow, and then the difference in blue. And so it's neck and neck right now. You guys saw 2021, BNB obviously outperformed XRP because of the lawsuit, and the bull run for XRP was cut short. But back in 2018, you could see the difference was massive. XRP blew everything out of the water. Right now it's number 5, but let's go to the way back machine and you guys could see Bitcoin's market cap. This was in January of 2018. Bitcoin's market cap was $258 billion. XRP was $134 billion. So for those of you that think with the 5% down or 10% down for the day or for the week for some of these projects is a bad thing, look at the volume in 24 hours. $7.5 billion in trading volume coming in 24 hours. So people were buying and selling XRP like crazy. It flipped Ethereum. It was the second largest. And so could we see that again? I think what's going to happen here is once XRP flips BNB, the talks of XRP flipping Ethereum are going to be a lot stronger, because then Tether will be dropping down as the altcoins are rallying up. So Tether is going to get out of the way here relatively soon. And here's proof. When we look at the USDT dominance, I've talked about this in several videos. I'm going to keep bringing this up, guys, because when we saw USDT's percentage dominance drop below the 50 SMA in red right here, we saw a massive altcoin rally, and it just recently happened at the end of October. Coincidentally enough, the end of October is when we saw Solana, Chainlink, we see all these other altcoins going crazy, the gaming altcoins going crazy, DeFi starting to rally, and it's because when Tether's dominance drops, money flows out of stable coins and it flows into altcoins, because when the bear market's happening, we see Tether's dominance rising. That's why at the end of 2021, we saw Bitcoin peak. You can see right here at the beginning of November was the end of the bull run and the beginning of the bear market. And simultaneously, that's when Tether's dominance was at 2.5%, and Tether's dominance rallied all the way upwards of 9 to almost 10% while the markets were dropping for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the altcoin market. And then you guys saw recently what just happened with the break of this ascending support for this symmetrical triangle right here. Now, the last time that we saw USDT drop below the 50 SMA, we saw Bitcoin rallying one final time, then it bottomed out, then it rallied up. The time before then, it was back in December of 2020 when the altcoin market was going crazy, right? It happened even before then, right? Tether topped out in September of 2020 at about almost 5% in dominance of the total entire crypto market cap, meaning that if the crypto market cap was, let's say, $1 trillion and Tether had 5%, well, you take 5% of $1 trillion and whatever that is, that's like what, $5 billion or something like that. And so if we look right here, or 50 billion, probably $50 billion. If we look right here, that's right before Bitcoin broke out. Bitcoin right here in September 2020 was $9,800. It went from $9,800 to over $64,000 when Tether topped out. What did we see happen here, guys, on the price chart? We're seeing lower highs for Tether since June of 2022. So as Tether's dominance was losing steam, the crypto market was finding a bottom. Once the crypto market found a bottom right here, you could see this massive wick right here for USDT, meaning that the bulls were losing control in terms of the bulls on Tether, like they were bullish on stable coins, they're losing control, and the bears that were bearish on Bitcoin were losing control right here as the market started to rally back up again. Now, the real key here is just because USDT is in a decline right here and it just broke this ascending support, it also broke below the 50 SMA, doesn't mean that the markets are just going to keep going up, because we're going to have correction periods, and a big support to watch for is around $30,000 to $32,000 for Bitcoin if we break below this ascending support right here. And so the next stop for Bitcoin to the downside, if we see, the next couple weeks leading into December, if we see Bitcoin sell off, is around $36,500. I would expect a bounce from here and potential consolidation closer to the support. And if we see a break to the downside, it could get real nasty for the altcoin market. And what I would expect to see on Tether's chart is a temporary relief rally in USDT's dominance, but eventually a break to the downside as we continue this bull run. So I would expect something like this to take place if Bitcoin sees a sell-off to the downside, potential fake out, and then Bitcoin to rally up. Now, if we don't see Bitcoin, see a break to the downside and Bitcoin continues to trend higher, eventually I would expect a break of this upward trending resistance right here to act as support for Bitcoin to trade higher. So there's really two scenarios that I'm preparing for the rest of this bull run. Okay, scenario number one is potential break to the downside and a fake everyone out and then rally back up, leading into BlackRock's ETF and then all the other ETFs as well too. Or we just continue to trend higher and we see these temporary periods where we see 5 or 10% for the day or for the week, nothing too crazy, leading into the ETF for BlackRock. But once the ETF gets approved, I would expect Bitcoin to be topped out anywhere between like $40,000 to $55,000. My price target for Bitcoin before the halving, and then the highest that I would expect Bitcoin to go before April is $49,000, $50,000 max. And then we see a massive correction going into Bitcoin's halving, consolidation sideways till the end of 2024. And we need to see the Fed step in and, start printing some massive amounts of money and some good news for the economy or something like that to see them QE again, quantitative easing. If there's some bank bailouts that needs to happen, then that would be bullish for crypto, but that would be bad for the US dollar and bad for the economy. So looking at Tether's dominance, I still think we have further down to go because as you guys can see in the past, look how far down Tether's dominance dropped from the peak. It was all the way up at almost 5%. It dropped down over 60%. So if we were to measure from the peak on how far away we are from this wick right here, we're at about 34%. So if we were to drop 48%, it'd bring it down to 4.8. Let's say if we were to drop 60% for Tether's dominance, it'd bring it down to 3.7%. So look how much further that is from where we are right now. So if we were to go down to 3.7%, that's another 40%. So that's why we are just getting started in this bull run and why I'm more bullish than ever before. And now the Federal Bank of New York, MoneyGram, XRP, and Stellar, the Federal Bank of New York has published a paper developed by MoneyGram's CEO, and it mentions a recent partnership with XLM and MoneyGram to offer a cash to digital currency bridge. It also mentions XRP as an asset to facilitate foreign exchange trading. The same document points out Bitcoin malfunctions, affirming that transactions are complicated and expensive, not to mention they're really slow, and suggests that stablecoins are designed to be pegged to gold or even barrels of oil. So why are we starting to hear talks of tokenization of gold and backing to gold and tokenizing NFTs, and then the XRP ledger and Ripple making massive moves for that? You guys can see right here in the document, if you go over to the community section of our YouTube channel, you can check that out for yourself and you can read that. But one other thing that's really interesting here is RJ Pittman. He's the former eBay chief product officer, discussing on stage at Ripple's Swell event in 2018 the importance of critical mass companies such as Google, Apple, and eBay to tap into markets with phenomenal growth potential, such as commercial and global payments. He then says, it's super easy to miss the window of opportunity and not capitalize on the digital era. We talk about the importance of payments in the future. We are nowhere close to hitting critical mass for global transactions. And do we have the payment infrastructure right now? Do we have the scalability? Do we have the cost models in place? Because it's going to get bitterly competitive when everything and every single transaction of every type is being done digitally.
What happens when we're at 75% online transaction? Do we have the payment infrastructure? Do we have the scalability? Do we have the cost models in place? Because it's going to get bitterly competitive when everything, every single transaction, every type is being done digitally. Every one of those interchange basis points adds up. And as we've heard from so many great speakers at this event, the inefficiencies in the processing chains for payments, whether it's global payments and cross-border, or even a credit card settlement here in the US. It's incredibly antiquated, it's cost-ridden, and there are grounds for so much innovation. And all of the incumbents shouldn't be fearing losing any of the nest eggs that they've had in the last several decades. quite the opposite. It's about sort of shedding the legacy and opening the aperture to extraordinary growth opportunities where the size of the pie is going to grow 5x, 10x. If you look at the numbers in terms of just online penetration today, we have so much room to go. And one of the big jobs that I had at eBay, I'd say probably my most important job was to help the company stay out of its own way. And what I mean by that is you get to any critical mass size as a company like eBay or Apple or Google, that's an important stewardship job to have, because if you tap into a market that has such phenomenal growth potential, like what we're looking at here in commerce and global payments, it's super easy to wreck it. It's super easy to slow down the progress. It's super easy to miss the window of opportunity to capitalize on this inflection point that we're going through right now to the digital era.
Now, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Also, the former CEO of the New York Stock Exchange is saying this about crypto that's super bullish.
The crypto media platform CoinDesk from Digital Currency Group in an all-cash deal. It's the latest move in crypto for our next guest, Tom Farley, CEO of Bullish, and formerly the president of the New York Stock Exchange, which I think that's half of your cachet right there. This guy ran the New York, crypto bulls.
Right.
This guy ran the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
He's all in on Bitcoin and crypto now, right? They use that as a credibility for that asset.
A year ago, like, my father was looking at me saying, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You ran the New York Stock Exchange.
Where did I go wrong?
And now you're in crypto. And crypto had lost its mind a little bit. It was all about fraud coins and monkey drawings and fraud hero worship. And I took some breaks. I took some new hobbies.
They were
like
apes.
gardening.
I believe they were apes. I don't think they were
apes.
Are apes monkeys?
There were monkeys as well. There were both.
And vampires
at that time. But I doubled down, Joe, because I think first of all, I think it's already coming back, and I'm making a bet.
Well, that's what you're saying about this acquisition. Is that for the next bull run in crypto, you want to have CoinDesk as a media arm of your company, because the bull run is already starting. Yeah, in your view.
In my view, the bull run's already started. I make no promises how long it'll continue or to what extent, but the winners in this next wave will be well-run, trusted companies that are adult, that are compliant. CoinDesk is a great example of that. They are, present company excluded, they are the go-to source for crypto news. They broke the Sam Bankman-Fried story. They are award-winning journalists. They have a conference business that's the longest running, largest gathering for crypto, Consensus. It's May 29th in Austin. And they have an index business that I'm really excited about that already has $25 billion benchmark to it. And I think that there's some real synergies with Bullish, the exchange we run. So yeah, it's a business that's positioned to really do well in a recovery.
What would a crypto exchange look like today? Like what would be different about it? Is this just having regulatory oversight and approval? Is that the biggest issue?
Yeah, it's the biggest issue. I mean, most of the legacy exchanges are caught up in criminal investigations, massive civil investigations, and they're in a state of non-compliance. And that's just, look, it isn't going to work. We can all wish, I think we have a libertarian streak, and we can wish that it would work like that, but it just simply does not. And the winning exchanges are going to be trusted, they're going to be compliant, and they're going to support and bolster the digital assets industry. I mean, it is what it is. I can rail against it, but that's the position we're in.
You know all these people in charge of whether there's a spot ETF. You know them all. They all trust you, and they all know you from your prior life. What the hell is happening? And is it something that's going to happen next year? Is it going to be 2025? What's the deal? What's the problem?
I'm not gonna give you a specific date. I guess I'm a little less optimistic of the immediacy of an approval. In other words, like November or even December. The current chairman and the SEC have said that they believe that pretty much everything in crypto, with the exception of Bitcoin, sometimes Ethereum, and possibly stablecoins, are securities, and that securities, at least in the United States, need to trade on a nationally recognized exchange, and they do not today. And I think these two issues at the moment are interwoven. That doesn't mean they can't be decoupled, But I think there's a view that, hey, if these don't trade on an exchange, how do we know that the underlying prices are trustworthy? The thing about Bitcoin that gives me some optimism is everyone acknowledges Bitcoin is not a security, including the regulators. So possibly the Bitcoin ETF does go ahead more quickly, which would be great for the industry, because money will flood into the industry with the Bitcoin ETF. It's just easy to buy. People believe in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be here. Bitcoin's a great invention. It just is. It is a store of value. I know it's volatile. It is a store of value.
Some people think it's a discovery, not an invention. It was already there. It was always there.
Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. You've been on Bitcoin.
Of course.
You've been on Bitcoin since the earliest days.
So the real key here is to understand that the companies in the cryptocurrencies that follow this new regulation moving forward in the future, ISO 20022, all these regulatory proposals that are happening at, with Congress and these, politicians that are proposing things forward that get approved. Well, which project is the number one project that has regulatory clarity right now other than Bitcoin? Ripple and XRP. It's the only one, guys. Everything else is in question. It may be Ethereum, but that might be because of, Vitalik and ETHgate that we'll talk about in another video. But if you guys want to see what other projects we're bullish on that we believe have a bright future, that will be around long term, and that could see the majority of the liquidity flow in when the $10 trillion by 2030 starts coming into this industry, potentially by 2025, then you want to go to bullrunners.com to discover our top cryptocurrency gems and proven strategies to make money online without any previous trading experience. Just click the button on the page, put in your best email address. You'll be instantly subscribed to our video newsletter so you can get breaking news updates like this sent right to your email inbox before the YouTube algorithm can push them to you, because by the time these videos are recorded, edited, uploaded, and distributed, it's too late, because sometimes it might take 6 hours, 12 hours for the video to pop up on your feed, unless you're actually searching the channel on a daily basis, which I encourage you to do, because like I said, if you got a 3-putt it, you got a 3-putt it. If you got a 4-putt it, you got a 4-putt it. But grab your putter and tap it in, give it a tip, a taparoo. We're doing it for grandma. We're beating the SEC, and we're buying her house back with XRP. So I will see you guys on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, let's back up our truck all the way to the bank, grab the bags, pack them and stack them, leave no bags left behind, because we know that the spending power of the dollar is going to continue to go down in value. That's a fact. Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve says they don't even know what to do to help these banks out. They don't have a plan, guys. And so crypto is that plan, as together we all go camping on the beaches of the moon. So I'll see you on the next video. I'll see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do, man. Stay bullish.